It worked like a 11-hour day, a 10-hour day, I think it was. But
Yeah.
I don't care. I am standing because I am so hyped for these games. For this ending. This could be the start of a new legacy for SGG. If they come out 2 weeks in a row with the victories, beating the team that beat SPK Embers, they could set up to be a new legend when it comes to the Scrim gyms as SGG, tying up Balefire, who was playing tonight, but they were actually in the second group, the round robin that's taking place right now. Those teams were a little bit late to signing up for this Scrim gym, so Balefire is around, but they won't be the victors. It's going to be one of these two teams as we are into the bans. The Vi, the Morgana, taken away by SGG. Maybe paying attention to the picks that SPK Defiance just played in the last game. Olaf and Vladimir picked away as well. So some of these bigger champions like the Vladimir and the Vi when it comes to engagement and damage, but now we've got a jungler being taken away with Sejuani, and I'm really glad to see Morgana. She was a huge pick in game number 1 and game number 2, now taking off the table for game 3, which means Yuumi should be up and available.
Yeah, they definitely don't want to see Spartans have Morgana, because in the last game we seen some insane sniped snares between minion waves. With the Morgana on Spartans, he's really skilled and really strong with Morgana, so them denying them that is definitely a smart call, because it was a very strong pick, as well as they're taking Vi off the boards and Sedge. We've seen Vi, Sedge, and Morgana all night being played in most team comps, so that being taken off the board is going to leave up some wild cards on right now, as we see a Sivir being picked up and J4 on the boards. He's been a strong jungler for the past few while. I've seen him played almost on every single casting games I've seen in the night. He's very capable of doing a lot for a team. Very strong jungler indeed.
I mean, there's just between the two of them, Jarvan is so good at engaging. That's actually why you banned away the Vi and the Sejuani, is because the easy engagement of just locking someone down, assault and battery, or the glacial prison out of the Sejuani, just to make sure that they have an easy time jumping on somebody. Well, Jarvan is very similar. Now, it's not quite as guaranteed because it doesn't technically hard stun them. It's simply a knock-up if he lands the EQ, or it's a big AoE wall that you have to flash over if he uses the Cataclysm. Either way, still a very strong engaged champion who can gank pre-6. That's one of the major reasons why you take him, is because you can gank pre-6. You don't have to wait like a Nocturne until you hit that level 6. For the side of SPK Defiance, they grabbed that Ornn on the top lane. We just saw SF, Person of God, very defensive around that top lane turret until he hit level 6, then started to roam around the map with his team. And it was actually, as we pointed out last game, especially you just expressed, the option of him boosting the, at that time, it was the Caitlyn's items to make her that much stronger in those mid to late game fights that actually gave SPK Defiance victory in some of those fights. They don't have the Caitlyn this game. Instead, they have gone with the much harder carrying late game Sivir. Plus, they're grabbing themselves the Nautilus for support. SPK Defiance is looking like a brutally scary team right now.
Yeah, but so is SWAY-GG. If we look, there's a Yuumi Ezreal to play very safe. We got the Jarvan to hard engage. Yuumi can definitely jump on the Jarvan and lock down not only the Jarvan ult, but Yuumi ult to lock down the enemy team. So that's going to be something to watch out for. But we all know already that Ezreal and Yuumi are going to be playing safe in the bot lane, which is why I think Majestic picked up that Nautilus, because Nautilus can do that range CC that Ezreal can't get out of, even if he tries to jump away. So that way Nautilus can hook into the Ezreal. If he times it properly, he can force to jump off the ulti and then go in with the hook to maybe stop some of that mobility. And if Yuumi is on Ezreal, that could be an easy double kill if they time it properly. But if not, Ezreal and Yuumi could be a problem, sitting back just CSing for days and poking hard enough until Jarvan comes in and just full on engages the bot lane.
Yeah, that's the key. Now, some of those bans have come through. The mid lane seems to be the priority for both teams, a little bit less for SWAY-GG. The Zoe as well as the Orianna taken away by SPK Defiance. LeBlanc and Hecarim, the picks from SWAY-GG, as there could be that Ornn potentially swap between top lane and jungle, but now with Sylas picked up, there's still some swapping. Sylas is incredibly strong in the jungle, plus his ability to pick off enemy ultimates and use them for his own, especially when you're giving him something like a potential Syndra who says, oh, you know what, I'll go ahead and grab myself a really nice unleashed power, plus my maximized AP damage on that is pretty darn good. But there is an option for putting him in the mid lane, taking Ornn into the jungle and somebody else in the top lane. There's a lot of swapping that could happen from SPKD Defiance. So, playing it safe, SGG, they grabbed themselves the Trundle. We saw it last game. While in the early game, it was very nice. That Trundle actually built a bit more damage. He built the Tiamat, and he wasn't actually a super mega tank for the other team that ran him. And so, SGG, I'm interested in seeing if they run him mega tank, because they also have Jarvan. So that means that it's most likely a Trundle in the top lane.
It's gonna really be dependent on whether they want Jarvan to be doing more damage, if they want Trundle to be more damage. I see that Trundle being more of a tank and Jarvan coming in and doing more damage, because it looks like they're swapping over and it looks like Jarvan is going to be the jungler. So it looks like Trundle is going to be in the top lane with Ornn. So I'm pretty sure, my analysis, my guess would be that Trundle is going to be really tanky and Jarvan is going to pick up some damage items. But I've seen a lot of people on Jarvan build tankier, because Jarvan does have the kit where even if he's tanky, he still does quite a bit of damage and he can be a meat shield. But I think this round they might eat a little bit of that extra damage because they're not so damage heavy. They got the Yuumi and the supports to sustainability. They got Syndra that does the burst damage and Ezreal. So I believe they might need a little bit more bruiser damage against the Nautilus and the Ornn, because they're going to be really spicy, really tanky. And the Sylas coming in hot. I'm going to be really excited to see how SPK picks ultis off. If we can see a Sylas Jarvan ulti and just squish in that Syndra and Ezreal Yuumi, that'll be interesting to see. And we have Majestic on Azir, and I've seen some crazy plays on Azir as of lately. Not so much on SPK. I haven't seen it on SPK quite yet, but that potential to have those walls to either knock them in or knock them out, to have that disengage or re-engage. They have mobility. SPK has the potential to engage and disengage equally as well. Their kit is really strong on both fronts of the fight. They have safe picks for early game as well to be able to not get caught out. So all around, they have an all-around team to go in to sway GG.
Yeah, there's just so much from both teams. You're talking about that Azir Wall Emperor's Divide could be something that could be used especially against the Syndra as a fairly low mobility champion. Now, Yuumi can dash to people, Ezreal can hop over walls, and Jarvan has the EQ, so that with the flag and drag, he should be fairly okay. But outside of that, Syndra, Trundle, both targets that Azir can drag underneath turrets. It'll be all about the positioning, as even in the chat is being mentioned. SwayGG is kind of running themselves a bit of a pick comp, whereas SPK Defiance say, we're all in, we're looking to mega fight, we're looking for 5v5 death ball composition. We grab ourselves, if I was the Sylas, I'd be looking at that Yuumi final chapter just to root people up, set them up for the Sivir auto attacks to start bouncing back and forth, ricocheting between the entire team, and that sets up the Nautilus for CC after CC after CC. There's so many chains that SPK Defiance can do. I definitely think that they have one out when it comes to sheer champion pool in the picks and bans. But that said, SwayGG, they had the lead off when it came to what champions they wanted to pick, so they might actually have some strategy in mind when it comes to the pick comp and being able to play around it, find a snowball early, and be able to just slowly roll that snowball into an unstoppable machine when it comes to that mid and late game. Very quickly, I do want to say that the betting is open. You guys, a couple of you are already throwing out those bets. If you're interested in betting, feel free to join in betting on which team you think is going to win. You can vote red or blue. And Jaku Zaku, love the name. Thank you so much for that follow, and welcome to XLNC Shoutcasting. We do this every Tuesday, and we have recently started doing on Mondays as well. These are Scrim gyms. Mondays are our iron, bronze, silver, and gold teams, so it's our lightweight championship, whereas on Tuesdays we run, it's basically Clash, but in this case we have ourselves platinums and diamonds playing in our heavyweight today. So this is the final round. This is going to determine which team is the heavyweight champions for this following week, as 8 teams have signed up and only one can come out the victor. As we're wrapping up the last of the spectator delay, if you had to pick a team to win, Jess, which team do you think is going to do it?
I am already betting on SPK, and I'm attempting to bet, and I'm not sure if it's exactly going through right now. I don't have my glasses. Oh, I see. Hold on here. I need to get this bet in. I already agreed upon it, so I can't let the stream down and putting all of my points into SPK. So SPK, do not let me down. Come in hot on SwayGG, even though SwayGG is the 2-time champions going on the boards right now.
Well, they, yeah, SwayGG, they have won twice in the previous, this is the 9th Scrim Gym that we have run on XLNC, and SwayGG have been able to come out with a victory twice, last week and several weeks before that, whereas SPK Defiance are kind of picking up that torch and running it forward for SPK Embers, their sister team that they beat in round 1. So maybe this will set up a bit of a rivalry between the two SPK teams as to which team is the better one. We'll have to see, especially if SPK Defiance take down SwayGG. That could truly set the mark for the SPK organization as to which team is the better one. And we were set up and ready to load into the game. Once we're actually in game, I'll go ahead and close the betting pool. So that way, if you guys want to bet, you better bet now because you're not going to have very long to do it. Oh, I bet, but I didn't bet all of it. I did not bet all of it.
Oh, come on.
No, I've been burned too many times by betting all of them. I'm not going to do that. Here's the thing, though. If I had to show preference, I would be a very bad community leader. As a community leader, I have to at least give both teams a bit of a chance, so I can't all in bet. I gotta make sure that both teams at least have a little bit of support as we launch into game and see both teams coming out of that fountain ready to rock and roll with the picks themselves. This should be an incredibly spicy game, and we already have a 5-man level 1 invade from SPK Defiance to start things off.
Here they go. They're coming in hot. Look how fast they are running. They're doing an interesting route, too. I haven't really seen this route, but it is a pretty smart route nonetheless. They're coming in. That's really quick. Killing in a lot of seconds on the clock to be able to come in on that invade
and stand on a ward.
Bush.
Yeah, they were looking for, there's 2 things you can do when you're coming into this brush. And they actually, obviously, didn't think anyone was in the brush, because if they did think someone was in the brush, what you're supposed to do is, especially the Nautilus support, drop a ward and then throw out one of those Qs, try to hook somebody up, and then the rest of the team can kind of follow up from there. However, because they didn't ward and they just straight walked into the bush, they really weren't expecting the enemy team to be there. The next thing that you do when you walk in and you're setting up there is you really should wait until the enemy team, SwayGG's bot lane, is coming through the tri-brush, headed into the bottom side, if you don't think they had vision. And now they might actually get punished, as SwayGG have 3 members sitting behind enemy lines. Name and Person of Guy are here. They're going to start up the red buff, and SwayGG are just going to sit this one out. Skeptor could try to jump forward and smite away the red buff. He's going to drop the spear first, boosting the attack speed to everybody. Name flashes the wall, so they actually do get a flash for Flash, and no first blood just yet, but they're chasing in under Person of Guy. He should be able to walk to the top lane fine, but that is an early buff start for the Jarvan. Skeptor stealing away the red buff.
Yeah, that is a little bit unfortunate. It was very sneaky. I was like, oh, are they going to get first blood right off the bat here and do a counter invade? A really, really tactical, sneaky jungle plays by both sides, and unfortunately, SwayGG coming out a little bit more on top by popping in some sums and stealing away the red buff.
So, no first blood. Ooh, hold on. Name was trying to steal away the enemy team red buff. He might actually go down. A good heal there, but it's not going to be enough with that smite. First blood is still going to end up on Skeptor because Name did not give up the red buff. Headed into the enemy team jungle. Was there way too long. Good route by Skeptor. Punishes him. Takes first blood and the double red buffs.
Yeah, what was that? He seemed a little bit salty there. He wanted to come in, be a little bit confident, a little bit too confident. He was kind of low to be contesting against a Jarvan. Jarvan is just way too strong to be fighting as a Sylas early in, especially with that low HP. Really just trying to snipe out that smite and try and get away, but it did not happen, as now SwayGG has a 500 gold lead in their pockets.
Yeah, with that gold lead, we'll see what they can do. The jungler is pretty nice to have it on, especially as that early ganker. There's some possibility there. We'll see what he decides to actually buy as he backs. A little bit of fight in the top side. Nice knockback from the Ornn, getting some good chunk damage down onto Trundle. One of the things we talked about last game, as there was that Ornn picked up by Person of Guy previously, is the fact that Ornn is very good into tanks. He does a lot of damage, and he's very beefy, hard to take down unless you bring a lot of crowd control in. And without Jarvan up there, that Trundle is just going to have to sit and farm underneath the turret. He's down 10 CS at this point, so he's got a ways to go to catch back up. Good spell shield from the Sivir.
Yeah, not only that, but that insane amount of damage Ornn did right off the bat. He had us so low that he had to pop all his healing potions already, so that sustainability that he needs to stay in lane is no longer there. He has to try and lifesteal the minions and play really safe, but I don't know. Ooh!
Oh, we're getting him brittle, smacking that brittle away, just chunking him down bit by bit. However, Skeptor is coming in, has that refresh red buff, might be seen by that early game ward. He's pinging him out, could head in. There it is, Person of Glory, dropping that wall. The Trundle trying to slow him out. We'll see what the Ornn can do as Delete is able to sidestep the charge. Person of God flashes into the brush, but Skeptor is waiting for him. He's going to go 2-0 in the bot lane. Misto going to be in just a little bit of trouble, but he has the Arcane Shift to be able to get out of harm's way. And these two, with their high mobility, continue to harass away, keeping even in farm against the bottom lane of SPK Defiance.
Yeah, the smart play here is the reason why they picked that Sivir is because, yes, they do know Ezreal is going to sit in the back and sit by turret and try and play safe early on in the game with the Yuumi and just pop in that poke. And that being said, Sivir is really good for
Screwface igniting Majestic. He's knocked him back. The barrier used by Majestic, but can he get out? That's the question. Screwface gonna flash forward, but has his spear, takes the kill, makes it a 1-for-1, making sure that the Sylas didn't get any assist. And the bottom lane, you could see Misto actually using the fact that the Yuumi could combine with him, not only recalling to buy, gets back with a Sheen, but also TPs back to lane to not miss out on much CS. Big question mark though, as he's not going the tier, instead started that Sheen, so really looking for damage priority over having the mana when it comes to these later lane fights.
Well, the tactic here is they have to be more aggressive because the fact that Nautilus and Sivir can siege jump a lot harder and be more aggressive and force down those tower planes. They have to be more aggressive with the Yuumi poke and the Ezreal poke to be able to come in, contest that, and just throw them off and stop them from being adding so much pressure into the base of their turret.
I'm really
so that
curious.
being said, yeah.
I'm really
Sorry,
curious to
Jake.
see. No, that's fine. What Dunsteroni decides to do, because we've seen a bunch of those prowling projectiles from the Yuumi be spell shielded by the Sivir, giving her mana back, allowing her to continue the siege, pushing forward like you've been talking about. But recently, a couple of those have hit the Nautilus instead. So it might be that even though Nautilus is the tankier man, that Yumi's actually targeting him instead. Whoa, there's that jump back using the you and me, sitting at half health. So dangerous to hop out if Nautilus is able to find that hook. Doesn't quite cut it up.
And the thing too is, if Ezreal and Yuumi can add in that poke, add in that aggression and chunk them down, they have extra sums. If you think about it, they got that extra heal, they got the ignite because Yuumi can just attach to that Ezreal, and they have the flash. Both of them can go in and escape. So that being said, they can go in, ignite, and heal for the sustainability, where not only has the ignite and Sivir has TP, no heal.
3 kills to 1, 1,000 gold lead for Sway GG, but 1,000 gold even at the 7-minute mark is still not the end of the game. Nama getting targeted though, out as Skeptor doesn't have that ultimate, level 5 each for them, but Sivir's coming in. Skeptor might be alone, but the TP coming in for the rest of the team. They're joining, Dunsteroni is here, they've actually CC'd the Nautilus, he will fall! Great stun there from the Syndra, setting up the rest of the team to pick up the enemy team's support, and with one member down, SPK Defiance back away, and they lose more of their own jungle. Ezreal solo pushing the bottom lane, trying to shove Blush back underneath the turret.
And what a beautiful TP in to pick up that kill. And now because of that, even though SPK has the Scuttle Ward, Sway GG is going to pick up the first dragon of the game, and that's going to be a Mountain Drake, and that's going to be huge for them because that's going to help them knock down turrets later into the game. And it's just all around a very nice dragon to get early on to get more objectives. And if we look up in the top lane though, not putting out a pretty big fight, Ornn just slightly dominating Trundle. He is 1 death down, but he is about 20 CS in a lead on the top lane and adding in that aggression on the Trundle.
And Trundle seems to be going that Tiamat route again. Different player, but similar build from last game, so maybe still focus on being a bit of a bruiser, looking for that wave clear in the lane. We're only at that 8-minute mark. That Mountain Drake is going to be nice if anyone is able to get onto those turrets and start to pick away at those turret plates. Also, Azir does have that ultimate available, so he's kind of stepping forward, but a great knockback by Syndra. Screwface making sure that the Azir does not have that opening to drop that Emperor's Divide and find a solo kill. Skeptor and Name gonna say hi to each other. It should be Silas hopping over the wall. Ooh, flashing used. Oh yeah, Name able to hook back. Oh, gets the slow as well. That means that Blush and the Nautilus are here.
What?
Welcome to Way Too Deep. Skeptor dives unnecessarily, and the enemy team is quick to respond, picking up a second kill.
Yeah, not only did Skeptor burn his flash, he burned all his mobility items to get the jungler, and he was really trying to deny the jungler and try and get him as far behind as possible, but that backfired as the AD carry picked up a kill.
Deleted to the top side. Personif guy having a much better game than last game. Able to find himself a solo kill after dying earlier, and as you said, 20 CS up, well, he's gonna grow it now that he's all alone, and the TP is down for delete once he respawns.
And now the goal is really even. There's only 100 gold difference back on the boards. Like you said, 1k is not quite a big difference at the 9-minute mark as it would be later in the game, because there is so much more potential to do trades, get some kills, and get some picks because it is so early in the game. And the Herald is about to be spawning there shortly, so it looks like Silas is going to get some more control in the map, and there's going to be a TP coming in the bot lane.
Oh, good spell shield timing by Blush into the bottom side, making sure not to get too much engaged on Skeptor. Gonna find Name, says, look, 1v1 me, bro. Stop running away. Don't bring any teammates. We gotta fight this one out. Screwface is gonna miss this stun, but still gets the ultimate. That's all necessary to take down the Silas. He has had a rough game so far. Buffs being stolen away, jungle being stolen away, died twice so far. Only down 5 CS, but man, Name, ooh, having a rough game for sure.
And it looks like Jarvan's going to do that 11-minute mark, try and pick up the Herald because he knows that the jungler is down, so there's no way there's going to be a smite steal. There's no way the teams can pressure in and rotate at this point, so it is an easy pickup for that Herald for them on the side of SGG getting most of the objectives so far.
Yeah, and again, Nautilus finds a hook, but it doesn't mean anything on the bottom side. Ezreal's just going to be able to arcane shift backwards. Yuumi, if caught out, could just use the you and me to tether right back to the Ezreal. So a very safe bot lane, staying fairly even with CS, falling a little bit behind, but has an entire wave to catch back up. The question is, how many plates are SPK's Divine Spot lane going to pick up? Because they are now grabbing a second plate for themselves. So that is some boosted gold for them in the bottom side. But after picking up the Rift Herald, Jarvan goes straight on into Personif. Guys, Skeptor, see what he can do. He's got the right before the slows. The Ornn flashes away. They're looking for that Silas. It's going to be Cataclysm inside Cataclysm. Name now on the run after the Ornn drive away. And Silas should be quick to fall. The Zir comes in. Revenge for his teammates as he finishes off the Jarvan, and Delete goes on a run as they will part ways. A 2-for-1 for SGG.
And I was seeing some pings up there for the side of SPK. Interesting to see that they would attempt to fight into the really fed Jarvan, but Ornn was huge. He was chunked down, so they were thinking they were about even and could contest that fight. It didn't work out for them, but at least Majestic picked it up and got some gold. I don't think there was a shutdown, but nonetheless, at least there was some gold picked up, and it looks like bot lane is gonna get a hook here.
And the bot side, oop, Misto gets chunked out. However, that Yuumi should be able to heal him up, but it's not about the chunking, it's about the turret dropping lower and lower.
Holy.
This might very soon be first turret to decide SPK Defiance, as that Sivir wave clear and constant pressure harassing that turret down. I was going to say earlier, when the Syndra did have red buff, something was interesting in this mid lane when both the mid laners don't have blues and have reds instead. However, was gifted that blue buff by Skeptor in the jungle for the side of SGG, so he's going to be able to have at least a little bit of pressure. Does want to recall. I saw her trying to start that earlier. But,
and even though sorry.
No, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
And even though SGG does have a lead and kills and has the dragon on the board, it may look like SPK having a first turret, because like we were pointing out earlier, Sivir is just insane at sieging, especially with a meat shield like Nautilus against an extremely passive lane. They're getting all the tower plating, and it looks like there's going to be a dragon set up here in the Baron Pit because Infernal is about to be out in 12 minutes, and that is such an early game Infernal that could really turn around things for either team and help boost them into getting a slight lead here.
Well, then my boost on to Skeptor. Ooh, a great flag and drag just over the wall. Beautifully played by Skeptor. Quick note on that Drake that's coming up here. You said the Infernal Drake. good damage out of the Syndra, is the fact that SGG, one of the things they're well known for in all the games that we've watched and casted them is their Drake control is continuously impressive. Now they're stepping back from this one as that Jarvan wanted to kind of recall, buy a couple more items before coming in. The rest of the team, all 5 members of SPK Defiance are here, and they should be able to pick this one up. Screwface is waiting over the wall, stunning it up, and nope, the smite is good from Silas. So that Infernal Drake will be picked up by Defiance.
Yeah, and Defiance, I'm not sure if knowing this, that SGG is really good at controlling that. They are also keeping equivalent control of the objectives now on the boards. Both members have dragons, one being on the side of SPK, but Herald is about to be spawned in the mid lane, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
maybe
so
trying to
Herald
rush this
spawned
turret
up
to beat.
It should be first turret gold going over to SGG in the mid lane as another arcane shift is good in the bottom lane. Great ultimate final chapter from Yubi, but she's knocked backwards. That ultimate is canceled. Bot lane turret's gonna be treated over. The roots onto the Ezreal. Missiles dropping lower and lower. Yubi heals are not gonna be enough as she untethers. She's ignited. She is dropped. Double kill for Blush Uwu. And the top side Trundle steals away the orange stats and finds the kill as we didn't even get to see the fight with Majestic in the mid lane. But Jarvis into the bottom side. Cataclysm onto Spartans. He flashes away. He hooks back to the wall. But Blush is gonna find herself an own kill. Cinder's coming around the turret. It actually takes a couple of turret shots to finish off the Nautilus. Screwface will get one back. You can see death timers all over the map as people have died everywhere. Suddenly, first turret goes down and everyone says, "We gotta fight! It's blood on our hands!"
Dropping like flies on both sides, even in gold. A little bit more kills on SGG's side, but it doesn't matter because the gold is consistent. And actually, there's about a 1k gold difference. My bad, it was even for just a little bit there, but now there's one tower on each side, but SGG getting first turret. Smart play by Jarvan, spawning that Herald in the mid to rush that mid turret, because if they did not do that, it would have went first turret over to the side of SPK because they were just adding so much pressure in the bot lane. And can we talk about how strong that Nautilus support is, living not only through Yuumi, not only through Ezreal, but living enough through Jarvan for the fact that Sivir could pick up 3 kills with 4 kills in her pocket. Insane amount of gold for her. 144 CS, a little bit above Ezreal, but not by much. Having a 550 gold shutdown, backing and getting tier 2 boots, and her first item in the pocket being an Essence Reaver, and on top of that, a VF sword. And not only that, she has a call to even gain more momentum with gold.
The lead getting a nice yellow chunk. He's actually going to steal away the Sivir stats. The Spartan's going to be the target. Nice stun there from the Cinder. He still finds the Q with the flash. Is going to make sure the EG goes down. True shot barrage from the Ezreal's not going to be able to do that much. Dropping Majestic a bit low. Will the Jarvan dash forward? That's the question. As the play on the bottom side. Pushing first and a guy back underneath the turret. He's going to start the Call of the Forge God. Great arcane shift by the Ezreal. And that Ram wasn't even close. May have just miscalculated.
It was really awkwardly angled, but yeah. But it forced them to disengage off of the turret as Orange trying to protect it, and it looks like they're lane swapping here to go up and try and add in a lot of pressure to get that top lane tower and stop them from getting the top lane turret. But Sivir is alone waiting for her support, and I don't know if it'll be enough. The tower is going to go down.
So 11 kills to 7. The gold lead continue to stack up bit by SGG. Once they're in the lead, they don't make many mistakes, and they seem to be doing that once again. Some of those fights have been a little bit questionable, but they've slowed the pace of the game down just a little bit. They said, we're objective focused at this point. We're taking turrets, mid lane turret, top lane turret, Rift Herald. The next strike going to be up in a minute and a half. It's an Ocean, so not nearly as exciting. But for a team that wants to pick and choose what fights they actually take, an Ocean is very nice and will give that sustained mana to the Ezreal and Syndra if they're able to pick that up. But the last one was stolen by SPK Defiance, so we'll see if they can position again for that. Couple of ultimates on cooldown, but coming off of cooldown in the near future, so we might get our next big fight around that Drake.
And if we look at the kills on the boards here, they were spread out between the Trundle in the top lane and the Jarvan and the Syndra. None on the Ezreal or in the bot lane, so the carries are going to have to be reliant on the jungler top lane and the mid lane. With that being said, it's going to be dependent on if Syndra can carry this over the Sivir. Sivir has the 4 kills But that being said, SPK only has kills stacked in 1 fed team member, and for SGG they have 3 fed team members, so that's going to be a difference.
Screwface setting up a bunch of spheres. Is it enough to actually drop that ultimate down? We'll see. This gonna unleash power. No, the sun's gonna miss. Sheesh will fall, and Skeptor will come in as well. Majestic now gonna be 1v1 with the Azir's got a lot of damage. Sancho's out. Emperor survived the Jarvan, but it's not outside of his own ultimate. Are you kidding me? Skeptor finding himself 2 kills there, and it is straight onto the Ocean Drake they go. However, the Sivir and the Nautilus are in the mid lane. They could look to collapse. SGG continuing to take leads in this game. I'm not sure where the Sivir and Nautilus are going because they're actually headed up towards that top lane as Ornn is alone on this bottom side. Say what you want about these teams, though. I do have to give massive credit to Person of Guy. He solo defended this bot lane turret for the last like 6 minutes against the Ezreal and Yuumi, even though he's been sitting at 400 health for most of it, keeping up the CS. He's actually still almost tied with the Trundle for CS. This guy is an incredible Ornn.
Yeah, he is doing an insane job really defending it, really trying to deny Ezreal and Yuumi pushing the turrets, and that's what Ezreal is really good at, is getting turrets and pushing in with his passive and his abilities, but he's not able to get that, and that's giving momentum for Sivir and Nautilus to roam around the map. Since they are the people who are fed, they are going to pop in, and they got the top lane turret, and it looks like they're going to rotate into mid and try and force this and siege this. So while Ornn holds down the fort in the bot lane, denying the carries from rotating around in the bot lane to see if the fact that SPK can come in here and add in pressure. And Baron is going to be up in 12 seconds on the boards, so we're going to have to see who's going to gain ward control. It looks like SPK is really going in to get that vision, but SGG is also really good at getting control as well. They might be rotating up to get vision.
Oh, this Syndra, the damage is getting pretty ridiculous. Even the tanky members chunking them down by a third every time she gets a rotation of spells off on them. As Skeptor, the main man of the hour right now, his engages are so crucial. Every time he goes in, somebody on the side of SPK Defiance is dying. At the moment, the Scuttle Crab control around the Baron is to the side of SGG, so they don't have to play too scared around that Baron. And they're going to group here in that mid lane. Leave Ornn to his own device on the bottom side, as that is a long lane for him to push with that first tier turret already going down. Skeptor clearing up vision. Is it onto the Baron they go, or are they just going to be looking to bait a fight?
They might be baiting a fight. I was just thinking, at this point in the game, it looks like win conditions for the side of SPK is going to be team fighting and grouping and sieging. But for the side of SGG, it's going to be getting those picks and bursting with the Jarvan and the Syndra. So it's going to really be depending on position, who can get picked, and how they're going to siege.
Now May going to find the Jarvan. He's going to EQ right out as the Azir comes over the wall. Oh, this guy's flag and drags are so smooth every time. It's like he knows where the enemy team is coming from. Name dashing on into the Sandra. He's going to seal with the Cataclysm, but he's just going to stun up and drop. Screwface has found 1. 2-man down with the flag and drag. Cataclysm blocking them in. Skeptor will fall, but it might be for his team's success. Emperor's Divine sends the lead straight to chop down the Nautilus. He's going to be filling his belly as Misto gets the poke off. Slowing down. Person of God, but the Norn will still fall, and that is a near ace for the side of SGG. Only Majestic still stands. 4 members. They might send 3 straight onto the Baron.
Yikes, that was... Oh,
Majestic! Okay, the barrier gets him out. The flash was used earlier. I thought there might have been enough first from Screwface, but some of those spells were still on cooldown. Was it quite enough to actually kill Azir, but sends him back to the fountain to try to heal up, as the Baron is the target for SGG. They should be able to secure this, as Name is not even close enough to come in and try to steal that one away. Okay, actually I was considering for a second there, but I was watching that health take down Baron to SGG, and they have found themselves a 5,000 gold lead. Screwface, the 2-man stun, gets out clean as well.
Yeah, they just popped off in that last team fight, getting some shutdowns, getting that 5k gold lead, and that Mountain Drake really helping them burn down that Baron. That Baron's going to be huge for them to be able to actually siege and counter the Sivir siege and turn around this fight. Not only that, Ezreal is also really good at sieging if he has a team to back him up. So that's going to be a little bit rough. 3-3 turrets. So you getting that Baron shove, coming in hot, and just using their 5k gold lead from now on, getting some setup. We're gonna have a second Inferno on the boards, so will SwayGG take this Inferno away from SPK, or will SPK get the second Inferno to try and help them come back into the game and maybe get a little bit more gold and get away from that 5k deficit?
Yeah, fighting around this Infernal Drake would be so risky for SPK Defiance. If they group, they might have something with the Ornn and the Sylas combined together to be the front line. Let the Sivir and Azir towards that late game. Again, these are late game master champions, the Sivir and the Azir, but they really need to hit past that 30-minute mark. You can see that most of them are still sitting on 1 to 2 items. They really need to get these last couple of items. I think for the Sivir, a static Shiv to get a bit more AoE damage, maybe even finishing off. Hold on a second. Okay, the Sylas is sitting around the corner. I wasn't sure if he was going to come jumping in, but it's actually the Ornn that came around the corner. The Trundle finishes off the bot lane second tier turret. But it looks like Sivir's building a Hex Drinker to try to deal with the Syndra damage, which I don't really support. You just need to position around the Syndra. Sylas getting a bit of poke.
Jarvan coming in by himself to just kind of check out what's happening there. Oh my god, did you see that damage on Ornn?
Yep, he's not the tanky Ornn we had last game. Oh, this Syndra is still popping, people. This here's gonna come in, though. Emperor's Divider right back to the rest of the team. Screwface gets knocked over the Nautilus and will drop, but takes down the Nautilus on the way out. And now the Trundle, he's maxed out. He's super big. He doesn't get to touch anyone because the Ezreal and the Jarvan finish off the rest of the entire team from SPK Defiance, besides Person of Guy, who's on the run. But the slows for the Prowling Projectile are enough. It's a triple kill for Misho and SwayGG. They've got the Baron buff. They might actually finish off the game. There's 30 seconds on most of the members of SPK Defiance. They're straight onto the inhibitor turret and inhibitor itself.
And you know what? I bet everything on SPK, and this is what is going to happen here. A little bit of doubt in SwayGG, but they have been a 2-time. Are they going to be a 3-time champion here?
It's looking like it. They're going to whip forward. Spartans just try to distract a little bit. Wait for Flush to come up. Only in time to watch the Nexus fall. Picks up 1 kill, but the Nexus is gone. Ladies and gentlemen, SwayGG will tie up Balefire for 3 times heavyweight champions. And they look better and better every week.
And to think that SPK was really clean, really smooth, really head-to-head last game, but in this game, SwayGG just made it look easy, getting in, ending that game out, and playing smart, trying to force it to not get to that late-game point so Sivir could get huge, and all the late-game champions on the side of SPK could get to that late-game point. They ended out in 23 minutes with their early game champions. Syndra carrying with insane amount of damage. I would just love to see the damage charts happening there and see how much Syndra was really popping out. Holy, just a huge difference on the boards for the damage charts between the Sivir who was trying to carry and the Syndra who's trying to carry. About a 1k difference, but Syndra can do more with the fact that she can instantly burst someone, and Sivir is more of a character that has to whittle away down characters with her abilities. Interesting to see the comparison happen here tonight for SwayGG, bringing it in for the 3rd time.
I think Discord even cut out because of the hype, but yeah, 3rd-time winners. But now that they are tied up with Balefire, I sincerely hope that Balefire can return next week, so that way we get a potential final round with SwayGG and Balefire head-to-head. But they actually have to make it. Again, these are all best-of-1 games. A single game could knock somebody out of making it to the finals, but SwayGG have been able to do it 3 times so far. Also, next week is going to be kind of a culmination of so many weeks because it'll be week 10. That is going to be the huge week. So if you're interested in that, hit the follow button and make sure that you are alerted for when we go live next week, Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It'll be week 10 of the Scrim Gym Heavyweight Championships. And so we'll see what the teams can do. with SGG locking it down tonight. And I gotta say, a lot of this was off of Skeptor. I mean, what an absolute monster on this Jarvan pick. Not only finding CC after CC in the early game, but so unafraid to go forward. And sure, yeah, I got him killed when he invaded a little bit too hard if I get trying to chase down the Sylas. But for the most part, his aggression was backed up by the team. And they said last week in that post-game interview where we kind of talked with them a little bit, Skeptor and Screwface, their synergy was so good. This week, it looked even better.
Yeah, they definitely made it look easy. SPK fighted for that spot to be in the last round. And looking SGG, 2-time champion, now 3-time champion, making it look like it was nothing. Coming in hot, Jarvan just dunking all the way, and coming out on top with the Screwface coming in, just decimating and just bursting so much damage, chunking down that Ornn, who was doing an insane job, really trying to sustain lanes, really trying to be a tank, and he just was building tank, but Syndra was just doing so much damage, he couldn't even be a beefy.
All right, well, we're going to do a quick interview with this team that has already won 3 times so far in the 9 weeks that we have run the Scrim gyms. Let's check in on the Discord with them. Jess, if you want to join me there and ask just a couple of questions, hear them out. Maybe this has emboldened them and they have even better claims for next week, week 10. Let's go check in with them now. Congratulations to you guys, to SGG. Every single week you guys have been showing up. I think you might have missed 1 week in the Scrim gyms as a whole. But these last 2 weeks, you guys have looked better and better and better.
Thanks, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, practice paying off, huh?
All right, so give it to me. What is the secret sauce to success that you guys have found that has allowed you to not only win last week's Scrim Gym and this week's, but do it in a fairly dominating style? Game 1 of this week was a little bit tentative for a while until kind of that later stage of the mid-game hit, but afterwards you guys definitely had it in control. We didn't see game number 2, so I'd like to hear a little bit about that. And then game number 3, you pretty much seem to, besides one fight, have the game in control from the beginning till the end. What is helping you guys find this so much success?
I think a lot of it came down to when we hard lost 3 weeks ago. We talked as a team and we decided a strategy that would benefit us greatly, and it fit all of our playstyles. I can't really expand on the strategy because we don't want other people to catch on and shut it down as much as they could. But really, a lot of it is just focusing on teamwork. We have a lot more communication now. We have decided how we want to play out games. We've decided who we're going to play through games. We've decided different picks that we want for every lane. Other than that, I mean, it's just being really prepared. I mean, this last game that we had in the finals, we guessed what they were going to ban, and we completely banned out their jungler using their own bans, and then first pick Jarvan. And the homies seemed he struggled a little bit on Sylas, as he's pretty much off roll at that point, and J4 into Sylas is horrible for Sylas. And it's just stuff like that. We've been a lot more proactive on our thinking and practicing.
Yeah, not even having our coach with us this week and being down our main top laner. Yeah, we didn't really go into this week expecting too much because we've never played with the top we had, and we didn't have our coach helping us out for pick bans, but we learned enough from him to really take over the pick ban stage, and we really were able to draft a
So the Miyagi really taught the Karate Kids the way this time.
That was our biggest problem early. I mean, we came in the very first week. We won. We were kind of surprised that we won because we were literally a 1-week-old team that hadn't played anything. And we won the first week, and then 3 weeks in a row or 4 weeks in a row, we got out first rounded, decided to recruit a coach, and then we've just been popping off ever since.
Mm-hmm.
And our synergy is getting ridiculously good. Our bot lane synergy is very, very strong. Our mid jungle synergy is, like we said last week, the best in the league most likely. And,
we just had to figure out how to really fit the helmet on our jungler, and once we strapped him in, it started working a lot better. Let me tell you.
Strapped him in this is what you're doing. You're gonna do this, and you're gonna go hard and big, and if not, we're going home, boys.
Oh yes.
You're gonna gank lanes, actually gank lanes instead of just.
We figured out what we wanted him to do. He figured out what he wanted to do. We strapped him into the kiddie seat, and we took off. It was good.
All right.
So how do you
go ahead,
guys
Jess.
feel about being 3-time victors now, tying up with Balefire? Hopefully we can see them on the boards. Are you excited? Would you like to see them as your rivals?
We definitely see them as our rivals. The biggest problem right now is we haven't beaten them yet. We've played them twice and lost to them twice, and
Yeah,
now
we
we're
clap
like,
'em.
now we're like considered like the same as them, or if not better, and we just haven't beat them yet. And so, kind of sucks that their roster changed because their old roster was pretty dominant, and we
Yeah.
would have liked to. The games are always pretty hyped between us, and it sucks that they have a new roster, but maybe they're better, maybe they're even harder to beat. So hopefully they're actually gonna get on top of getting in next week, so we can actually go against them.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm
it'd be
excited to
interesting
see.
to see.
You guys versus Balefire next week. The new Balefire. They've had a couple of changes around, but one of the things is that the 3 times that they played, they made it to finals and won. Again, kind of that no contest. So
Yeah,
one of the things
like
you
Ember
said
did.
earlier was that you guys, you do a lot of research when you're kind of strategizing around the picks and bans and trying to figure out what to play, and you seem to have a lot of content to play on the blue side. But do you guys, because most of your victories are on the blue side, do you have a different strategy when it comes to swapping over and playing on the red side where you're kind of trying to like counter pick and stuff?
It's mainly not counter picking.
Yeah.
It's utilizing last pick and it's utilizing dual
First
pick.
pick. Like this last one, we were blue side, and the whole reason we drafted the way we did is because we knew we'd have first pick advantage, and we snatched Jarvan. Because we knew that was the only jungler that was up that he could play, and our jungler is a competent Jarvan player, as you guys saw, and I mean, the jungler diff was pretty huge. We were able to get him the advantage.
It's also... Go ahead.
Sorry. I'm really surprised that they consistently are letting the Jarvan come through, because you guys have been insanely successful with that Jarvan, and it's been coming through over and over again, and no one seems to be really respecting it.
Kind of hard to ban Jarvan when you permaban Olaf, so maybe some of these other teams will let Olaf through.
It's not really that. It's not really a champion that you permaban. It's not like a Sejuani. It's got incredible utility, but like it's not. I don't very much see J4 being banned. It's just, and also our jungler just has such a big pool as well.
Yeah,
'cause
everybody
it
on
doesn't
this team has a
matter.
huge champ pool, so it's kind of hard to ban someone out. Like everybody, I'd say could at least play 3 to 5 champions at top level, at least.
Well, you guys are
Top level
definitely
being
picking up some serious fans in the Twitch chat that were going nuts all game long. So, do you guys have anything that you want to say to these new fans that are excited to see you guys continue to come out and play every week?
Yeah, dude, I got something. I really hope we get to play Balefire, because I've never gotten to play against him, I think, and
Oh yeah, you
I
were
keep
out of
hearing,
town.
yeah, I keep hearing that we got dogged by him, but it's gonna change. Whenever we play him, it'll change, 100%.
Yeah. Put him on the other side of the bracket next week, dude. Let's see him in
Yeah,
finals.
100%.
You know,
I really want to play
force
against
magic.
him.
All right.
Hopefully
well,
they come back in.
the challenge has been issued. It's up to Balefire to respond or not with their new roster. We may be able to see them. I'm interested in seeing what they were playing in the round robin, which is kind of going off stream for the extra teams that were kind of interested in playing tonight. So I'm interested in hearing what their success was with that. We'll post the stats on the Discord afterwards so that people can kind of see how the teams did in that round robin. I believe we have that on Discord or on Battlefy. But thank you so much for coming out and playing. You guys, as you said, you've been consistent every single week, and now you're dominating. You're building up a fan base. You guys are becoming legends on the XLNC Scrim gyms. Excited to see you come back and play in week 10, which to me is going to be one of the hypest weeks because we've had so much history that we've been building up over these last 10 weeks, and it's all going to accumulate in a game that you could potentially be facing off against Balefire. I'm just super hyped.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for having us. It's always a pleasure to play on here. I mean, this is the most fun I have with competitive league. I mean, scrims are cool, other tournaments are cool, but to have the opportunity to be casted and streamed for like maybe an amateur tournament, but a tournament nonetheless, I love it. Every week, love it. It's great. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. We are going to go from there and transition out, but we are going to shout out. Tross is in the chat. He's the coach for the side of SGG. He's the one that's kind of behind the scenes, the mastermind of this team and their success, and he's been doing some serious work with them, definitely leading into a lot of their success that they found after so many weeks that they got knocked out round number 1. So huge props to him. He is obviously a Twitch partner as well, so maybe go check in, drop him a follow. Yeah, I'm that kind of that guy that's super nice. If he was streaming right now, I'd probably rate him 2. But we are going to switch over to our end credit scene and call the night out and thank everyone that came out and followed, gave all of those hosts and raids and all that stuff. But very quickly, I do want to say, if you're still watching and interested in our free play games we run on Thursday night, that will be 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Free plays are where anyone, any Twitch viewer can come in, sign up to play. We basically do exactly what we did tonight, but it's just best of ones between 10 players pulled from the Twitch chat. We get you in, we hype up the game, we even the teams out as best we can, have a blast. It's our bit more for fun night. So hopefully we'll see you all there. So switching over now